Okay, so this is where do startups start? Because startup businesses have these great ideas, and St. Louis has a million resources, and sometimes it's hard to know exactly where you need to be, especially since it's all free, but it's not always obvious what's good for you. So we've put together this panel of people who are particularly involved in early stage startup resources, like Rikki Henry, who does Square One, and Melissa Grizzle, who does I-10 and has had hats in a whole lot of other spaces like 1 Million Cups and the Missouri Venture Forum. So let's start. First of all, you can find the Startup Resources Guide at stlstartupecosystem.org. I put it in the chat. You can look at what's in the chat, and always you can ask questions in the chat, or you can just unmute your mic and pipe up. So one of the organizations that I represent is 1 Million Cups, which is an organization that allows you to have one presenter can present to a whole room full of people and get feedback on their idea. We don't critique your presentation. It's a no harm, no foul thing. You can show your pitch deck or not, and you'll get great feedback from a room full of people who aren't your friends and family. So that's a real good way for startups to start practicing doing a presentation. They give you a little coaching in terms of before you actually do the presentation. You only get like 7 minutes to do it, and then open it up to Q&A. So that's an organization called 1 Million Cups, which is a Kaufman Foundation organization. We have a chapter in St. Louis. Once you've presented to a 1 Million Cups chapter, you can go to any of the others all over the country and present as well. And it's free, definitely free. So let me send it over to Rikki Henry, who can talk about Square One.
Hi guys. I'm like Melissa. I have been on probably 3 to 4 Zoom calls today, and I am exhausted with Zoom, but here I am.
Yay,
But
Rikki, you made it. Rikki's in the house.
and school ended today for my daughter, and we had to pick up all of her school things. So that's another. But I'm happy that's over. But anyway, Square One is a program that is out of the Center for Emerging Technologies, which is CET.
I just dropped the link, Rikki, for everyone in the chat if people want the direct link to the Square One page.
Thank you, Melissa. And Square One is actually, as Mary mentioned, it's for very early stage entrepreneurs, particularly those that are in the fields of IT, consumer manufactured products. And when you talk about consumer manufactured products, you really talk about products that can be mass manufactured. So that's probably just about everything other than bioscience and IT. So have um, we have that level, consumer manufactured products, IT services, and that's just IT in general. So Melissa and I play very, very well in the sandbox together. And then bioscience. So we also are connected with BioSTL and the biogenerator. And what we do is we really, really, really help entrepreneurs focus on their business model, making sure that they know if somebody will buy what they're making or they're developing. And so we do all of this over a program. We're having a program right now that we had to actually not postpone, but we had to move it because it was. We have two of them in the springtime. One of them is normally in late February to March, mid March, and then another one is the whole month of April, but the one that was the whole month of April, we moved it until June. So it'll be from June 8th through June 29th. During that time, we will focus on business model validation. And so that's with our business model canvas. And that's our Square One Ignite program. After Square One Ignite, that's a spring program. We have a Square One Boot Camp, and that's a 10-week program. And it's a little bit more in depth, and it kind of really helps the entrepreneur hone in on what they want their business to be. If they want it to be, to move on further, if you want it to be a legacy, if you want to have it to be sold, or if you just want to know not to spin your wheels on something that nobody will buy. So it just kind of helps you get your thought process in order. It is a 10-week program, and it's kind of conducted as it is. One day is full of content, and that's usually on a Monday. And then on the second day, we usually do face-to-face discussion with your subject matter expert, and or we also have incorporated field experiences. And the field experiences, it's kind of a new thing. We didn't always do that, but we found that it's been useful, particularly for the consumer products folks. We are trying to work with our subject matter expert that also is associated with I-10. We're trying to work with him just so we can see what field experiences may look like for the IT sector. Because sometimes IT, they always say, I won't say sometimes, they always say, oh, we get left out. We get left out, we get left out. That's what some of our entrepreneurs say. We don't get to go on the field trip. So we're trying to figure out what that field experience may look like. So Square One
visit somebody else's basement?
Pardon me?
Yeah, you want to visit somebody in the basement?
Somebody else's basement? That's usually where companies that are just a little bit further down the road are still
right.
in co-working space or somebody's basement.
Right. So we try our very, very best to get connected with folks that can not only help our entrepreneurs, but let them know that they're not in this thing alone. And also some of them just need to know that, hey, you might like it, everybody may not. Your baby may be beautiful to you, but your baby may not be beautiful to everybody. And so saying all that to say is that we just try and educate our entrepreneurs, try and get them to focus, try and get them to understand some of the things that the School of Business may not tell you. People think, oh, I have an MBA and that I know everything about business, and you come and try and start your own business and you like, I know nothing. So that's what Square One does. And we are funded by the Missouri Technology Corporation, not this time, but that's what we normally are funded by. But I think right now we're just here to meet our entrepreneurs where they are and try our very best to honor their need in the ecosystem. That's it, Mary.
Thank you, Rikki. That was great. And yeah, getting in front of people and getting to find out whether your brilliant idea flies with other folks, that's always a real good thing. Okay, so Melissa Grizzle is the executive director of I-10.
No, I'm the director of entrepreneur development. Don't take my boss's job away from me. It doesn't go well. So,
okay. Melissa is our representative from I-10. And again, it's early stage entrepreneurs, but hit it, Melissa. Tell us what you do.
Before I delve into I-10 for a little bit, if you have your camera on, you can just raise your actual hand, or if you don't, you can raise your virtual hand. How many people would say that there are founders currently working on a startup? I'm trying to get an idea of who's in the room. So virtual, or how many, okay, so how many of you guys are thinking about it and trying to figure out what the heck it means to be an entrepreneur, maybe start something, have something percolating in your head?
Okay.
Okay. And how many people are like working for an organization that helps entrepreneurs? Mel Lambert, raise your hand. Cool. All right. I just try to see, like, in definitely feel free to put things in the chat as we are talking, or if you don't want to just speak up, and we'll try to get to questions and stuff. And as soon as I'm done babbling, we'll probably open it up to what's going to make this time together meaningful for you guys. But as Mary said, my name is Melissa Grizzle. I'm the Director of Entrepreneur Development with I-10, which means I'm the main contact person for all of our companies, and manage our mentor group and our programs and public events. And so we've been around for about 12 years and worked with over 1,200 startups in that period of time, and have been watching this ecosystem just completely explode in the last, especially the last 5 years. But we've definitely have been around since the beginnings, at least, of the tech innovation community here in St. Louis. And so, as Mary said, if you are if you are tech focused, definitely you're in our wheelhouse. If you're not, but you kind of maybe tech adjacent, or you don't really even know what you are or where to start, there's no wrong way to enter the ecosystem. So reach out to any of us, and if we're not the right fit, we will. We do a lot of cross referring with other organizations. As Rikki said, we work closely with Square One, and not only with their tech, the IT track there, but also some of the consumer products folks in bioscience that are sort of a little bit techy in some of their infrastructure. So the way I-10 works, it's free to join if you're a scalable tech company. You just go to our website, which I put in the chat. It's i10stl.org, and click the big blue button. That starts the process to become an I-10 company. We work with companies from idea stage all the way through to typically getting ready to raise significant outside capital is sort of our later stage companies. We still have some relationships as our companies continue to grow and scale, mainly those that want to stay connected and be a part of our introductions to our corporate partners. But primarily, we have a lot of companies that are idea, proof of concept, MVP, minimal viable product stage, and that are getting ready to launch commercial products. But that early stage company. And we have about different kinds of programs from our, we've about 60 volunteer mentors that you can get access to on all subject matter expertise. We also have some programs to help you with different kinds of pitches. So an investor pitch practice, an elevator pitch practice, and we're also going to be launching sales pitch practice. Those are 3 very different pitches that every founder needs to have in their toolbox. And then our later stage program is called our Investor Readiness Program. That is for companies that have some traction, have a validated business model, have definitely worked through their business canvas, either with our mentors and our support, or by going through the Square One program, or going through SLU, STARTS, Customer Discovery, iCore, and are ready because they have validated that business model to go out and consider raising outside capital. And so we try to meet the entrepreneur where they are and get them connected to the resources that they need, whether it's I-10 programs, like I've mentioned, or other, we work closely with a lot of other support organizations that are both on the list that Mary shared at the beginning. That's probably everything that's on our ecosystem map, plus a few others that aren't tech focused. So it's a little bit more broad, but we do have a tech ecosystem map
some of you might be familiar with. It's a galaxy map that shows all of the resources. And then we do also, if you go to our website, which, like I said, I put in the thing, have a digital geographic map, so you can see where these organizations are located and click through to their URLs. So we try to be a really strong connector and navigator of the community. So again, even if you're not really sure you're a fit for us, we're always happy to help direct you in the right direction. So it's probably enough babbling from me. And I didn't know if, I know Galen was going to try to join us. I'm not sure that he has yet, but
Galen
if you wanted to.
emailed me that he's got another phone call. He's going to try to pop in later if he possibly can. Meanwhile, I'll put in a quick plug for Justine Peterson, which is not a person, it's an organization. Justine Peterson is sort of the first stop if you're starting a business, because they help you with things like getting your credit score functional and getting a business plan put together and giving you a sense of what organizations and money might be out there for you in the early stages of startup, as well as others, because they are funded by the SBA. So their advice and counsel is free. But before you've actually got a business with a line of credit, you are your business. So your credit score is very important in terms of giving your business some legitimacy. So those are things to kind of consider. Somebody in the chat asked if there are resources for people in education. Yes, there are. One of the best things you can do is talk with other people who are kind of in your space. And you may not be competitors, but you may have similar clients in mind. And it's always good to talk to somebody who's been there already. So some of these organizations give you those great opportunities to do just that. Not to mention, when you talk to one of us, chances are very good that we can give you an introduction to somebody in your space, because we kind of know everybody.
Yeah, and I think also, you know, another organization that's fairly industry agnostic and can kind of speak across all different focuses is the SBDC, the Small Business Development Center, whether Lynette Watson or their new person, Ed LaHoo. And so that's another, we work very closely with them. In fact, when people join I-10, they automatically become SBDC clients at the same time, and we work to cross-refer with them. So again, that's an easy way if people reach out to us and they aren't in the tech space, we can kind of connect them with some support. And I don't want to necessarily put Mel on the spot, but Mel Lambert, you know, showed up tonight, so I'm going to put her on the spot and see if she wants to just say a few words about what the public library can do for entrepreneurs, because I think that's one of the most, one of the resources people don't always think to go to, and we send a lot of folks and work closely with the library system to, they have a ton of really cool resources. Mel, do you just want to talk for really briefly about what the library's doing?
Sure. Hey guys, I'm Mel. I work at the library. So I work very closely with entrepreneurs and startups and small businesses, and we have a lot of data available at the library that we kind of help you navigate. So we have, you know, when you're thinking about growing your business or even just starting it up, we can help you figure out who your demographic is, who you really want to target. We have consumer data that says what people are spending on items. If you're B2B, same kind of information. You know, we have business plan templates and things that can help you there as well. So we really just kind of help you figure out where the best information is that you need for whatever it is that you're searching for.
Yeah, I think sometimes people are like, I don't know where to get data on the market that I'm, you know, looking at, or I'm struggling to, you know, to find that. The library has a lot of great resources in that regard.
And I can't stress enough the importance of doing your homework at the beginning about your market, your potential market, and your potential competitors, and just understanding the competitive landscape. It is mind-boggling to me the number of entrepreneurs I talk with on a regular basis that are completely blind to other players in the space they're trying to play in, because they haven't spent enough time. They've been too enamored with what they're trying to create to lift up their head and notice what's going on around them. So really understanding your customer, your competitors, and doing your research before you spend a lot of time and energy in a direction that may not be as fruitful as another one. And yeah, I also, when introducing Mel, forgot that she's now also leading Balsa, which is another great early stage funder of awards and support for small business and startups across the industry. Mel, go ahead. I'm sorry. Say a plug for Balsa too, because I think it's.
Oh yeah. So I'm also the program director for Balsa. So basically we give 10 $1,000 grants in twice a year. So once in January, so that's closed. And then next they'll open up July 1st. So if you are looking for grant money, then you can apply and be part of that program. There's also an 8-week or 10-week learning series that you'll attend as well as part of that. And so they really kind of walk you through some of the very first steps as well and get you well on your way.
Right. Balsa is also fabulous if you are starting a not-for-profit. They understand that space very well too. So that's where we send anybody who's got a startup not-for-profit, we send them to Balsa.
Yeah. Yep. Thanks, Mel, for opening.
Okay. So at this point, I'd like to open it up. And if people have questions specific to them, this is your opportunity to talk to all of us and find out what's going to be best for you.
And happy to also continue to monitor the chat if you'd rather just type your questions, that's fine as well.
Okay.
But I think we shared.
Yeah, we'll share that. stlstartupecosystem.org is the one-stop shopping link. That's got links to everybody else who's posted a link as well. As I think there are over 65 different organizations now that help startups. And we put in check boxes that kind of give you a sense of what each organization does and if they have a special group that they serve. So that's a good website to check from time to time. So do any of you want to just tell us about your startup and what it is you're looking for? Jump in, it's fine. Daniel?
Are you putting people on the spot?
Oh, sure, why not? I don't know if I have to unmute them.
Feel free to hang up, Daniel, it's okay. No, I'm just kidding.
I think for me, because I've been a college counselor for about 7 years now, and I'm originally from New York City. I moved here in August, and it was always a goal of mine to be in consulting. So before I left New York, I was doing a little bit of consulting. I had a contract with a local program, and when I came here, getting adjusted to St. Louis, I wanted to focus more on my job and learn the city more and what have you. And through my interactions, because I work at a private school in West County, through my interactions with some of my students and the ones who hire private consultants, I really see like a really huge gap of knowledge between like what I know and what I do and what those people do. And for me, in seeing that and experiencing, trials and tribulations of that and the lack of knowledge that these folks had, it inspired me to like really try to get more serious with my consulting and relaunching it again this summer. So I already registered a new name, registered a website. So for me, it's more about how it's all about wraparound services, whether that's the one-on-one aspect between myself and students and families, or helping public schools and community-based organizations, or charter schools or private schools or what have you, to help really tighten up their college counseling services and provide curriculum and what have you.
There are a couple of local entrepreneurs in similar spaces. One's putting an app together to be able to have kids fill out college applications and send them and get kind of one-stop shopping for all of that. They also provide resources for saving money so that you can start to save up to pay back your college loans while you're in the process of getting college loans. So that's an interesting space to find somebody in. There are other, like I said, other entrepreneurs locally. If you shoot me an email, I can introduce you to some folks. Somebody asked, what's the best resource for a teen business? And it seems to me it doesn't matter how old an entrepreneur is. It's about the industry, the area that they're working in, and getting connected with particular resources in that area. Christy Jackson does run a special group for young minority entrepreneurs called Glam Girls, which is girls leading and making moves. So, if you're a minority teen, that's a real good group to find a lot of support and camaraderie in. But anybody else, Rikki, you want to talk? Do you know any particular things that work for teens? Because in my business, I just, jump in both feet. It doesn't matter how old you are, and this is the reality of it.
Yeah, Mary. There is, and I'll get it before we get off. But it is a whole organization that deals with kid businesses or kid-owned businesses, and they're not very far from I-10.
It's not junior achievement.
No. It's not. It's an organization. I think that was an organization that helped the Books on Bros, the Sydney guy.
Oh, okay.
I think they also helped Maya's Cookies. She has a business. A little boy named Joshua. He has a business that has like fragrances that you spray, aerosol fragrances. And then the little guy who has the vending machines. So there's several kid-owned businesses that they support, and I'll find out the exact name of it before we get off.
I would just, one thing I wanted to just say too, that for I-10 companies, if you are a I-10 company and join I-10, we have a community engagement platform that all of our companies and all of our mentors connect through. So it's also a great resource once you're on that platform to look for others that may be doing similar things and connect with founders. And we offer events, our founder to founder meetups, and where founders can connect with each other, in that safe space to just talk about the roller coaster and how crazy it is. So we try to do a lot of connect our founders to not just what they need to run their companies and grow their businesses, but to be successful and have balance in their lives. One of our main mentors, that was the Venture Cafe speaker at this time at our Second Thursday programming that we do every second Thursday here, you can check out his
recording talks a lot about self-care and what it's like to be an entrepreneur. And that's both on our YouTube channel and the Venture Cafe YouTube channel where they put these presentations. So if you haven't had a chance to see that one, it's like 10 taboo topics about becoming an entrepreneur. It's a really good one to kind of understand what the road ahead of you is going to be and have some reasonable expectations about that. Because I think one of the things for new entrepreneurs that have never been down this road, they sometimes have more of the pop culture view of what it means to be especially a tech entrepreneur, and they all think they're gonna be the next Mark Zuckerberg and they're gonna create this unicorn thing, and VCs are gonna throw millions of dollars at them for their great new idea, and that's great when that happens, but that is not a very common journey. So we want to celebrate successes that don't look like that and help entrepreneurs understand how to be successful in lots of different ways. So anyway, I recommend that. Oh, thanks, Nikki. Nikki just threw the link, the YouTube link to that presentation in the chat.
So, do you remember his name, Melissa?
Oh, GV, or you mean the mentor that did the presentation?
GV, yeah.
GV Freeman, sorry.
GV Freeman, yeah. Excellent program.
He has great programs on the side. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's also one of our mentors, and he's a yoga master. So he's all about self-care and balancing the world of, his big phrase is "stop crushing it." He hates certain people like, "I'm crushing it."
I'm crushing it. Yeah. I remember thinking when I was watching his program, I was thinking about South Park and the Underpants Gnomes, and collect all the underpants and profit, and what's in between? Big question mark. GV actually tells you what's in between the work and profit and all the stuff you have to do and put up with and overcome in order to get there. So yeah, it's a reality check, but it's kind. So anybody else want to tell us about your startup?
I will. Somebody had asked about education. Not sure exactly what the angle was, but I know that Venture Cafe has their education focused programming for educators and other working with I don't know a lot of the specifics about it, but I know that that's a place where educators that are trying to be more innovative and within that profession, within the schools, they do programming, and Sharita can elaborate on that.
I can share the website to EdHub.
EdHub, that's the other half of the word.
But Sharita Love is the director of that program, and it's the signature program in Innovation Hall, which is the event space that Venture Cafe runs, and that's the space that I work for. I manage the space and any rentals, but this program is just focusing on equity and education in St. Louis, and so I'll share the link here. We do typically do programming, but obviously right now canceled, and we're not doing anything in person, but there is some ways to get involved, or I'd encourage getting on the newsletter, because I know they're still having some virtual sessions too, but there is some more information about that.
Christine, do you want to elaborate more about your question? I mean,
just wanted to let Daniel know. Daniel, if you want to, you can reach out to me just so that I can get you connected with some of those folks who have some companies that are very close in nature to yours, and they may be able to be a support and or assistance to you. And then just reach out to me, because even though you may have a type of consulting company, we don't actually deal with consulting nor services, but it may be your delivery and the way you're delivering that service or that company to see how Square One can even be of assistance or even partner you with somebody who can also help. So, because we have a lot of folks that are in this whole education arena, and just the way their companies are aligned, they may be tech focused, meaning they may be some type of app or some type of something that people don't necessarily see as a company that could be a part of an educational platform, meaning the person be educated, meaning you. So just touch bases with me. I will put my information in the chat, and then reach out to me, and then we can have a conversation, not only to you know, Sharita and Ed Hub, because they are an excellent focal point, but I think from a company standpoint, as an entrepreneur, trying to figure out if how your thing can be better, and how your company can be better, and how we can educate you to not just be a company. I mean, because it's wonderful if you have all this information, but Daniel, if you're not making any money, you have a hobby. And we need to figure out how to help you be engaged with others that have this same type of thought process that can make some money. It may be me, it may be Bossa, it may be IT. Because when we sit and talk, you might say, but you know, Rikki, I might have a flair to it that may be IT focused. Wonderful, but don't do anything in the world that's talking about businesses and companies for free. Make sure you get some money, because it's a hobby if you don't.
Exactly.
Alrighty.
Somebody asked if there are entrepreneurs in the blockchain space, and Melissa, you probably have some folks at I-10 who are doing it. I know there are some folks using blockchain in terms of creating security programming and security apps. I don't know anybody who's actually doing it as currency, but what other things? There are lots of applications for blockchain, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we have some. I'm trying to think of names off the top of my head, but it might be, I had followed up with Christine too. So Christine, I put my email address in the chat, but it's mgrizzle@i10stl.org. If you want to just reach out to me directly too, I can also in the meantime go into, we have currently at any given time usually 150 to 200 active companies within our network on the platform. And so as you can really imagine, it's really hard to keep track of what all of them are doing at any given moment. Because hopefully they're pivoting constantly to be the best possible versions of themselves. So, you know, that's, so just when I think somebody is going way down a blockchain path, they're like, oh no, we pivoted last week. We're now doing, you know, AI in a completely different space, or they're now doing whatever. So
Exactly.
but I can do some.
This is seriously, any of you folks who don't have your cameras turned on, if you want to post a question in the chat or turn your camera on and your mic and just ask a question, this is your chance to really tell us about who you are and what you do and what you need.